In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at some of the same automations that we've been building in past videos that I've done about HighLevel, where we're managing our leads, particularly intake via form. We're trying to build automations to put them into pipelines and things like that. Today, we're going to take that one step further using conditionals inside of our workflow automations in order to sort or segment our users and apply tags, send specific emails, and bring it all into one simplified onboarding automation versus spread across multiple automations or simply not doing this at all. So in a past tutorial, we made our lead intake automation here where somebody filled out a form and that triggered the creation of an opportunity along with perhaps an auto response from us, along with an internal notification to let us know that a lead had come in. Well, what if we wanted to segment the users based on what they filled out on the form? Rather than just adding one tag saying lead or something like that, we're going to use a conditional to figure out what they put on the form and then to segment them into different tags that we can potentially use not only in the future, but perhaps even in this same automation. If you haven't watched my past videos, absolutely go watch those first. You'll find them inside of my HighLevel playlist. All right, so we're just going to keep the exact same automation that we built. Nothing's really going to change, but we are going to add another action here, and we're going to do a search for if. It's an if else, and that's going to bring up the condition that allows us to place a fork in the path of our user's automation journey here. For the action name, I'd like to give this a description of what we're doing. A good example based on our form would be to determine what service they're interested in. So we can put that, what service are they interested in? And I like to do this because as you're looking at your automation visually, it's a lot easier to see what's going on rather than having to click in. Now for each of the branches, these are going to be the services on our form. I think we did one that was like SEO. So we're going to go into our contact details and we're going to scroll down. I believe it's right here to our custom fields, and we're going to say select a service because that's what we had on our form. And we're going to say is, and then we'll choose search engine optimization. If you have a more complex form, you can use additional conditions. For example, you can say and or, but for us, we had a simple form, and in most cases, most people do. So we'll leave it like that. We don't need to add another segment. We can just leave the conditions and segments alone there, but we do want to add another branch. This branch, I'm trying to remember what our fields were. Okay, so website development and custom JavaScript. So we'll make this branch website dev, and then we'll come in here and say contact details. We'll scroll down to our custom fields where our select service was website development. We'll add another branch, and ours is simple. It's just 3. I actually have a client who has 20, I think I mentioned that in the previous video, 20 different options on their form. So this took a little bit of time, but we'll do SEO website dev, and this was like JS dev, JavaScript development or something. So we'll do contact details, custom fields, select service is, and we'll do custom JS. There we go. Okay, so we'll save our action. Little tip for you, a branching condition like this can only have so many options. I believe it's 9 or 10 or something like that. When you reach the end, if you need to add more, like in that example I gave you with like 20 plus options, you can just say, is it any of these? If not, then just put another conditional here and then say, is it any of these? And then you can keep going as long as you want. But we only have 3 on our form, and they'll never reach none because it was a required field and they had to select one of these 3. So we can, in this case, safely ignore the none, but on your form, you may need to adjust it depending on your options. Now, if the user selects SEO on our form, we're going to want to add a tag. So I'll do a search for tag, add contact tag, and we want to add one for SEO. Since we don't have an existing tag, we can add a new tag if we type one in. So I'll put SEO and I'll click add new tag. There we go. So that user is tagged with SEO, and then we're going to maybe want to do something, maybe send them a specific message. So in this case, if we are going to segment them and we do want to customize the response that they get, we may want to move this auto response by clicking the 3 dots, clicking move, and say move action, and move it to here. And then customize this auto response based on the option that they selected on the form. Maybe this one's all about our SEO services. Maybe it's about some case studies or things like that. If you're doing website dev or JavaScript development, maybe you have a process that you want to go through, maybe sending them links to like a project management, like a ClickUp or something like that, or an Asana. All of that could be done within these branches. And even taking it a step further, if there are different people in your organization, or if you have different emails or branches of your business, you could take this internal notification and you could put a unique one under each of these options based on who should be contacted. For example, I work with a med spa, and if it's, let's say, Botox or something like that, then it needs to go to an esthetician. Or if it's a laser-based procedure, maybe it goes more to the head of the med spa or to a doctor or something like that. So you can customize this and make it fit your specific business. Now, taking this just one step further, if we come back into our other automations that we built, for example, let's say under booked consultation, we discussed how once they book their consultation, you could, of course, remove them from the other workflows so they don't get the automatic reminders. Again, go watch my other videos if this makes no sense to you. We can repeat that same process here by doing an if-else condition. I won't waste your time by rebuilding it in front of you again, but essentially we can do that if-else branch here again and say, if they selected SEO and they booked their consultation with us, send them this email, send a notification to this person, book a time on this person's calendar, that type of thing. Coming back into our opportunity pipeline here, you can see how conditional if-else automations would make sense in almost every single one of these steps along the way. This allows you to customize your responses and customize your follow-up based on what they're interested in, rather than using something more generic, or rather than forcing you or your staff to have to manually follow up at every step of the funnel. I hope that was a helpful adaptation or augmentation to the existing lead management pipelines that we built. I use those exact ones inside of my agency every single day for my clients, and it makes our lives easier on the agency side. It makes my customers' lives easier on the business side for them, as well as their staff. So it's kind of like a win-win all around. The staff are happy, so the client's happy that their staff are happy, and that happiness kind of flows back up to the top towards us. All right, if you have any questions about these automations, feel free to leave a question down below. And if there's a tutorial that you'd like to see about HighLevel that I haven't yet covered, also feel free to let me know.